on something that's been on my mind as of late, I get a great answer 100% of the time. Just because intuitively somebody looked me in the eye and said, your change is 1 followed by 30, $30.
Yeah.
And so I look it up in the I Ching, and boom, I get an answer to something that's been on my mind. I can get it from, well, I have sort of, there's another little interesting thing on this idea of working with the I Ching. I had to buy a new copy of my favorite translation, which is the Zen Tarot by, what's this guy's name? I can't think of the author right now, but I reread the introduction only to find out that I had been using the wrong correspondence for the coins, the coin oracle. I had been looking up everything backwards all this time, and I had been getting totally wonderful answers. And so when I've turned them around backwards again, so they'd be right, I continue to get great answers. So it doesn't make any difference. All this hocus pocus that you have to do it the right way. The universe is going to talk to you even if everything you know is wrong, to quote the Firesign Theater. Okay. Before we go on to that, what came into my mind was the incredibleness that we're talking to each other and you're on the other side of the world and it's not the same time where you are. Are you ahead or behind, according to us?
I'm ahead, I think.
So when you talk to us, you are literally
in the future.
No, you're in the past.
In the past.
Yeah, that's it, right? The time is 8.
And when we talk to you, you're literally in the future. Now, how can that be?
It
Time
can't be.
does not exist.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an illusion.
Are we proving it right now?
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even when we get in the groove, we get pretty discorporate, almost just riding up somewhere in outer space.
Yeah.
Sailing through the day.
All right, back to the ranch here. Here we go. We're number 4, and this is apparently like really a good thing to throw at Chris right now, because he just is gone through a tremendous crossroads in his life. And everything has worked out, actually. So here it is. Number 4. From the exhaustless riches of its limitless substance, I draw all things needful, both spiritual and material. Chris.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you just, that link to the universe, being connected personally to the source, no matter that the let go that you need for change, it is, sometimes can be even arduous, but usually the universe will be doing exactly what you need. I've talked about this before in articles where I say, every moment is the master, or it doesn't, or they say when the student is ready, the master will come. But the fact is, sometimes it'll come in the form of a wizened soul to give you whatever. But more often than not, it just happens with the people in your life every day, or the situations that come every day. And we just have to truly be open and allow for change. And for some people, this is what I say, sometimes you got to be willing to risk. I mean, you got to be willing to let things get stirred up, because sometimes you need things to be stirred up to get those rejuvenating energies, the cleansing energies, the healing energies, so you can get the next wave of something new, whatever your next point on the soul purpose is, what your next occurrence is.
All right. Just one comment about what it says here about the exhaustless riches. It's curious that it says, I draw all things needful. That doesn't say, I get everything I want, or I think I want, or what I think I need.
Yeah.
It says, as if to say the next step in your development is right there in front of you. Now just move. Go. Take the step.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Number 5. I recognize the manifestation of the undeviating justice in all the circumstances of my life. Woo!
Wow.
Well, let me just say one thing here. He's talking about, it's really another way. The Kabbalah is older than the Jesus sayings, but he's saying it the same thing that he said in the Sermon on the Mount. Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets.
Yeah, well, that was something, like as you said earlier, we were talking about how you radiate your energy out. So every second of every day, depending on what you're radiating out, you are creating your world in accordance with that. So you'll see the reflection of that which you kick out, quite literally return to you. And I'm going back to some of this archetype thought, I sometimes even see like all the people in my life or all the circumstances, they're all kind of archetypes for me in my alone space, in the space where I am just myself, and I'm witnessing, watching, looking at these things and seeing what the lessons are. You can always see that what's in front of you is a part of yourself and part of that pathway that opens up the space, and that I wanted to even elide that with what you were saying earlier about how you read the numbers, in everyday events, or it's like whatever you kind of agree upon or come to reference yourself, just say, okay, this is my channel to the universe, It could be anything, some people do the animal totems, and, that has a little different twist, that has a little different feel, or, you do the numbers, or you do the tarot, or you do the planets, or you come up with just like a language between you and the universe, and you can even come to use all these things, and even also, like you say, you can go to the store, go on a little walk, and someone might be sitting on a bench and they'll just say something to you, but that might be that perfect lightning strike from the universe, not just somebody that you don't know that you're not going to pay attention to because you're just too busy walking about. That's how people miss all these signs and all these lessons, because they're just all wrapped up in themselves in that way of just narrow focus just on, like you say, their own wants and desires instead of seeing the signs or seeing the path. It's all, if you're following that path, you don't have any guarantee, but it's always leading to greener pastures.
Yeah, it's really as if the universe has made a eternal promise that it always says yes to whatever language, whatever means of communication that we want. It said yes ahead of time. And concerning the justness of it, it's what brought me to mind was, and I wanted to get this little quote from John Lilly from The Center of the Cyclone, which is a book that really hit me between the eyes back in the 70s when it first came out. And I copied this down by hand, and I have used it over and over again because it's so true. Man's mind is a mirror of a universe that mirrors man's mind. though the mirroring is subtle, random, and unfathomable. What one believes to be true either is true or becomes true in one's mind, within the limits to be determined experimentally and experientially. These limits are beliefs to be transcended.
Yeah.
Don't like your life? Change your thinking.
Yes, and that also soak things up. Soak up all that you can, and I mean that's part of the process that we're doing now. I mean, transcending, that's the key word. You soak up things and transcend. You don't have to stay within any structure because, again, we are the master. We are the one who is awake. We are the one who has that at our disposal for expression.
Yeah.
That's the life of an artist / mystic.
I also have another. I have most of these sayings that are written in the blurb. When I moved blog, whatever it is. It's on Chris's website. When I moved into the house that I'm living in right now, one of the worst rooms was the bathroom. Oh my God, it was a wreck when I moved in. And even with several coats of paint and plugging up all the holes, the bathroom wall was so messed up that it was kind of wavy. It had cracks and everything because the house had settled underneath, and there had been the really badly leaking roof that leaked for 5 years, and so the floor was wobbly, and the walls were very, very strange. So I put up my own wallpaper of all the what I call spiritual one-liners that I had found in other people's books, and I laminated it all and kind of made homemade wallpaper just to cover the walls up. So I can go in there and reflect on.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones in there.
One of the best ones that I ever found, that like just 6 words. What you see is what you get. 7 words. That's Flip Wilson. Do you remember him?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he had this character alter ego called Geraldine. He was extremely funny, but like so many comedians, he was also expounding some pretty incredible truths. And what he said is, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And that's all you get. If you can't see it, see meaning understand it, you don't get anything but what you can see. And if you want to get more, you got to grow.
Well, that's also underlies the importance of opening up space by bringing these means that can meet and make that possible for people to have that happen in their life, because it's not even part of the normal societal way of thinking that kind of magic or that kind of true life and interaction with life is there, but it really is.
All right, Hendrik, you got something?
I'm sitting back and just enjoying the conversation. I love this stuff, so please continue.
Okay.
Guys. Yeah.
Okay. Please interject anytime you want to.
Absolutely. Sure.
Okay, we're going to go on to number 6. In all things, great and small, I see the beauty of the divine expression.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
Well, when you get to that point of where you like we were talking in different ways earlier, of opening up and letting the universe kind of come into you. I mean, I think even Osho says that he's the host and he invites the guest. And,
oh yeah.
That's a way of kind of you can almost a little bit the universe we talk about, but there's a character there. There's a person. It's not really there's an individual or a flavor.